Okay, let's see if I'm actually on screen right now. You see, I got like stacks of stuff piling up around me that I need to open up. We're gonna open up this guy really soon. That's that Casey Jones, the Mirage Comics Casey Jones. You see, I got Blackfire, I got Zatanna, I've got the Flash versus Titano. Uh, got Galactus from the new Fantastic Four movie that I still haven't seen yet. Got a whole lot of stuff here to open up for you. But right now we're on some Ninja Turtles. And like I said yesterday, even though I opened up Super 7 Ninja Turtles on the last episode, it's not all going to be Super 7. We got some NECA to open up too. Blue White Mario is here and says, "Hi Alan, I'm back." Well, I'm back too. We're both back. So yeah. Isn't it funny? It's my old pal. Yes, indeed. So today I've got to open up for you the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie Ultimate April O'Neil. You know, NECA's calling some of their Ninja Turtles figures Ultimate figures. Super 7's calling their figures Ultimate figures. Which is really the ultimate? Well, we're gonna do some comparing of some of the characters back and forth on here because in the batch of Ninja Turtles figures I got to open up, we've got an April O'Neil figure from each of these companies, and we got Casey Jones from each of these companies. So Blue White Mario says, "So I play Roblox while I watch your stream." Well, that's cool. Yeah, my nephews, they're into Roblox, so I've heard of that. I'm not familiar with it. Like, I've never actually played it myself. I don't get to play a lot of video games nowadays, but my nephews love it. So you can see the cover is really cool. They did like this lenticular thing on it, so you can see the static going in and out on the screens. You can see this one's got a throwing knife stuck in it, where Shredder was not happy with what our girl was saying. There's a nice portrait of the figure over here on the side. Dressed very professionally, at least for the late 80s, early 90s. And some other views of the figure here. Here on the back, we have, like we saw in the bootleg Ninja Turtles that I opened up, this picture of all four of the boys. This is the action figures. This is not the suits from the movies. This is the action figures. They were just that realistic and detailed. And she also is very realistic and detailed. But since the Ninja Turtles, by definition, since they were made by Jim Henson's Creature Shop, they are works of art. They are sculpted and painted, and the actual suits are sculpted and painted, and she's just a normal person. Blue White Mario says, "Okay, I'll be back. I'm going to play Roblox now. Goodbye." Well, we'll have fun with that. You can keep me on in the background. That's fine. I don't mind. So, and Troy Durant is here, and he says, "Hi, right back at you." So this is what the little bio on the back says, and of course, it does have the summary of the movie as well. Now you can catch America's favorite green teens in their first live-action blockbuster film. After wading into a puddle of radioactive waste, these radical reptiles are transformed into New York City's greatest crime-fighting quartet. Also following the city's unprecedented crime wave is the intrepid Channel 3 reporter, not Channel 6, April O'Neil, who eventually finds herself face-to-face with the Turtles when Raphael rescues her from Foot Clan ninjas. These highly detailed figures feature an assortment of movie-accurate accessories and over 25 points of articulation. Yes, indeed, April O'Neil in the movie was a reporter for Channel 3, not Channel 6, because of copyright concerns. I think that they probably figured that the Fred Wolf cartoon owned the Channel 6 and its associated employees. So we didn't see any of Irma. We didn't see any of Byrne Thompson. We didn't see any Vernon Fenwick. We just had April O'Neil and her boss in the film, Charles Pennington, and his bratty little son, the squealer, Danny Pennington. Danny, it's just Dan now Pennington. And I want to say, like just just so people know, I'm not saying anything against that actor, who is an actor who does a lot of cons, and he seems like a cool guy. Like I think he did a good job in the movie. Don't get me wrong, but the character of Danny Pennington is a little squealer, and snitches get stitches. That's all I'm saying. All right. Oh, here's the artwork over here. And you see she's got her van behind her. Now, this van was important in the comic book because it was their main source of transportation when the Turtles needed a ride somewhere. But it was April's van. It was just a plain white van. It wasn't a Channel 3 news van. It was her own personal van. And in the toy line, of course, it wound up getting souped up and turned into the Turtle van. And of course, in the animated series, it wasn't April's van at all. It was Baxter Stockman's van that they stole it from him. And I've got two of these. One of these I got off of eBay, and she was only like $20 on eBay, which was a good price. And the other one that I got for $16.99 at Ross. Unfortunately, she's the only one I found at Ross. If I had found another one at Ross, I would have bought another one at Ross and saved myself like $3. But anyway, here's her purse, since that fell out of the package. And you can see it's got some nice printed paint detail on there, like this sort of like a woven pattern in the purse. It looks, a lot. You see women's purses like this a lot in the 80s and 90s, probably still do, but it's kind of like a little bit of a hippie looking sort of purse to me. That's kind of and it does open up. We'll have a look at that in a second. But this is kind of like the big old, purse that mom sneaks the snacks into the movie with. I don't know if she comes with any actual movie snacks. She's got some frozen pizzas. We'll have a look at that. But yeah, it's almost like a coin purse in the way it opens up. Like it's molded to stay shut. Like it's natural. You see it like squeeze back to its natural form there. But you can put some accessories in there if you want to put some accessories in there, like say her microphone or Raphael's sigh, which she does come with one of Raphael's sigh. So, but there's the purse. Go ahead and have a look at that since that decided to leap out of the package. And then we've got underneath this little plastic, there's a little plastic blister inside the blister that's holding some of these other accessories in. So let's try to get that out. There we go, without stuff flying all over the place. And I mainly bought two of these because I had a cool idea for a custom. And there actually was on Cult 3D, somebody made a Margot Kidder Lois Lane head. So I figured it'd be fun to make a Lois Lane figure. And I already got a figure of an intrepid female reporter who hangs out with superheroes. So I figure, she'd be a good base figure for that. So I got an extra one so I could do a custom. So here she has a figure stand. Every figure should come with a figure stand. There's no excuse not to these days. And Neca did provide us with a figure stand for her, probably because she's wearing high heels and they want to make sure she's able to stand up. And then we have her Channel 3 microphone. It's got a 3 on there. WTRL, I believe, is those initials that are within the 3, but it's kind of tiny. My old man eyes can't quite make it out, but I believe that's what the call letters were in the movie. And then she's got Raphael's sigh. I lost a sigh. Then it is gone. But I could get it back. Raphael, let it go. Yeah, so it does seem to me like I don't have an official one to compare it with, but the bootleg version that I had was much more brown, and this one looks like the wraps around the grips, and again around the what do you call that, handguard. Excuse me, still early in the morning for me at 3:00 in the afternoon. But they look much darker, more like black than brown on these versions. And then she's got several hands. So let's have a look at these hands. And she's got a gripping hand. And you can see that one's got a little thumb ring on there, like Judith Hogue actually had in the movie. Both the hands that are on the figure, we'll have a better look at those when we get them out. They're kind of like relaxed. But this is a gripping hand made to grip the microphone. That's probably the one I'm going to actually leave on the figure. And then there's a gripping hand for the left hand as well. And they are not identical because, again, Judith Hogue as April O'Neil, maybe in real life, maybe that was something, a piece of jewelry she had in real life that she just wanted to keep. Didn't want to take it off while she was filming the movie. But she has the ring on her thumb in the movie. So that's a nice little attention to detail. And a pointing hand, I like pointing hands, so she can point accusatorily at the police chief, Chief Stearns, and ask him why he's not doing more about this Foot Clan situation. I think I've talked about this before, but I was very much of the opinion watching this movie as a young man, as a child, God, how old was I in 1990? That's depressing to think about. I think I was at least in my early teens when this movie came out. And solid fist, so she can punch Foot Clan members in the face. And it does have the thumb ring on there. That's for the right hand. All right, so I think that's all the hands. Yeah, that's all the hands. So anyway, I was thinking as I was watching this movie that Chief Stearns was actually like on the take and was actually like working surreptitiously for the Shredder. Like the Shredder had him turning a blind eye, as it were. But I don't think anything like that was actually revealed in the movie. And he seemed kind of ignorant of the whole goings on with the Foot Clan at the very end when he shows up to confront God, that guy's a big actor now, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. Justin Hammer. Guy, crewman number 6. Why am I drawing a blank on this guy's name? He's a good actor. Frickin' A. You know the guy I'm talking about, though. It was like one of his first movies, and he went on to be a really big star after that. And I'm just drawing a blank on his name. He's a very good actor. He was in one of my favorite movies he was in was Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, where he played what was his name? Not George Barris. The guy who was producer of the Gong Show. I can't remember anybody's name right now. So, but yeah, it's kind of ironic I can't remember the name of the actor from Galaxy Quest that played crewman number 6. I didn't even have a name. And he's a really good actor. I would even say I was a fan of this actor, but I'm drawing a blank on his name. It's driving me nuts. I'm going to look it up. It's driving me nuts. I'm just going to look up Justin Hammer. Justin Hammer, Iron Man 2. I'm going to feel like an idiot when I see his name. Sam Rockwell. Yeah, great actor. And I really loved him in Iron Man 2 also. He's one of those guys. He's good in everything. Like, I've never seen Sam Rockwell in a movie where he wasn't given, like, just an A-game performance. And you know how I feel about acting. Like a great actor, a truly great actor, is always going to give a good performance, no matter what movie they're in. And in this movie, he was just a young guy. And he was playing like this. I think his character's name in there was Thug Number 1 or something like that. I don't even have a name. So the first movie I could think of that crewman number 6 was in, he's playing Thug Number 1. Maybe in the Galaxy Quest universe, that's the same actor. But yeah, Sam Rockwell, great actor. But yeah, Chief Stearns shows up at the end and confronts Sam Rockwell, and Sam Rockwell tells him to check the warehouse, the East warehouse on Lairdman Island, Eastman and Laird. So I guess Chief Stearns wasn't on the take. He was just an incompetent dipshit. You know, I'm just going to go and put this back together because, did we look at the mic? Yeah, we looked at the microphone. Okay. Because I can put all these hands in her purse. That's what I'm going to do with those. So I'm not even going to do my usual thing with the Neca, where I keep all the extra hands in the box. Because I can just put all her extra hands in the purse, can't I? I think they'll all fit. Like I said, it's that big old mom purse. I think they'll fit in there. All right. So let's have a look at April O'Neil. And before I do that, I'm going to swap out this. Here you can get a closer look at the kind of open hand. It's a nicely sculpted, just kind of relaxed hand, like it's not really trying to do anything at all. And I'm going to replace it with the gripping hand because, of course, I wanted to hold her microphone. All right, and then we can talk about our articulation. Well, we'll talk about the heads first. So she's got two different heads, and one head has a very neutral expression. And this is an excellent likeness of Judith Hoag. I think they did a really good job capturing her likeness. I think, you know, it's factory paint. It could probably be a little bit better, the paint, but the sculpting is just perfect. It looks just like her. And it looks like she's got a little earring on the one ear that I can see. I don't know if it's painted in on both sides. It looks like it's painted on both sides on this head. And I'm pretty sure both of these hair pieces are identical. Why would they bother to make different hair for her? And you can see it's maybe if one of them was like more sort of action-y, like kind of blowing in the wind or something. But no, they're both just kind of cascading down to her shoulders. And it's that very curly, kind of reddish auburn sort of hair. They had a good April O'Neil hair color for her. It does have like a little more blonde highlight in there than you might imagine. But her hair, you can see they put some effort into trying to match her hair with both the cartoon in terms of color and the comic book in terms of the texture. Because if you remember in the comic book, April had very curly hair after she got that perm. The first appearance of it's kind of controversial. The first appearance of April O'Neil, she pretty much is unambiguously. I don't like to argue about this kind of stuff. So this is not an invitation for debate. I'm just telling you like historically the facts. This is how April O'Neil worked in the comic book. Is in the first couple of appearances. The first one is with the Mausers, and the second one is the longest car chase in comics. Was intended to be so. She was drawn pretty unambiguously Caucasian, but in her third appearance, April was. They changed up her look a little bit. She got a perm. That's in the story. She says that she went and got a perm, and she seemed to be drawn a little more, shall we say, ethnically ambiguous. And this is where a lot of people will argue whether or not April O'Neil in the comics was originally supposed to be black. Well, you know, if we have to take the qualifier word originally out of there, because if you look at the first appearance, she looks like a white lady. You know, so at least the first two appearances, she was a white lady. But the third appearance, you could argue that they were trying to draw her as a black lady. Like, I think there's a good case to be made there. If you look at the way she's drawn in that story, that she's supposed to be maybe a black lady or mixed or Puerto Rican or something like that. She doesn't look like she's necessarily supposed to be a white lady. I think, personally, my theory is that they were going for a racially ambiguous look, because if you ask Eastman and Laird these days, you get all kinds of answers that contradict each other. Not only do Eastman and Laird contradict each other, but sometimes the things they say contradict themselves as to what April's race was. Was she Asian? Was she white? Was she black? Was she Hispanic? Nobody seems to know anymore. And those are like the only two guys who would know. But like I said, in the very first issue that she appeared in, issue number 2, to me, she looks like she's drawn to be a white lady. She was drawn to be a white lady in the in the cartoon show, obviously. And I'm pretty sure the main inspiration for how she was drawn in the cartoon show was Richard Corbin's cover on one of the later printings of issue number 2. If you look at that, Richard Corbin's version of April, you can see very much where the DNA of the animated one came from. And then Peter Chung came up with her design for the cartoon, which is still my personal favorite April O'Neil design. And that one had a lot of anime influence to it. Like if you took Richard Corbin's April and ran her through an anime filter, you would wind up with Peter Chung's April. So April was usually depicted as being Caucasian for most of her appearances until recently when Paramount decided to start making her exclusively black. And ever like she was still a white girl in the 2012 Nickelodeon cartoon, but it seems like to me in everything since, April's been black. And personally, like I've said before, I don't care if April O'Neil is black. I don't have an issue with that whatsoever. But I do feel like as far as changes that has been made to April since Paramount bought the license, there are some changes that I don't like. But her race has nothing to do with it. I'm fine with her being black, whatever. But April O'Neil should be an adult. I don't like her being a teenager. I don't ever like her being a teenager. And April O'Neil should be cute. So as long as she is a cute adult woman, cute and beautiful, those are two different things, but she manages to do both. as long as she's a cute adult woman, I don't have any problem with whatever race you want to make April O'Neil. I don't care. Doesn't really matter to me. I think she should have red hair, but there's no reason. I've said many times before, there's no reason a black character can't have red hair. There's no reason that Malcolm X had red hair. So hey, happy Black History Month. I'm not doing like a whole month of them this time, but I'll try to sneak in a few black characters this month if I can. So do I have any black? Yeah, I've got Mr. Terrific. I've got the Superman movie Mr. Terrific figure. Okay, so once I'm done with Ninja Turtles, I'm gonna open up Mr. Terrific, and that's gonna be my Black History Month figure. So there we go. We got a Black History Month figure, but we just got one this year. Maybe there'll be some more surprises later. Who knows? But there's one official Black History. I'm not doing a whole month this time. Like the whole Black History Month thing was fun. And I think it was informative, and I think a lot of people enjoyed it, but it was a lot, you know. And now I keep having all these things where like I'm doing like a whole series or something for a month, and you know it probably would be a good thing to try to mix it up a little bit more and have a little more variety going forward. So. But Black History Month last month was fun, wasn't it? So I definitely want to make sure I do at least one Black History Month figure this year. Anyway, tangent over. If I had a black April, she could be a Black History Month figure, but this April is pretty clearly Caucasian, so she doesn't count. All right, so getting back to the figure, I talked about the head. Let's talk about her outfit. They did a really good job with the paint apps on this figure. A lot of good details to it. We're going to get into all of that. First of all, probably the simplest thing about her, she's got this plain brown vest. It doesn't seem to, like, it's got a little bit of wash on it, but, you know, it's just a plain brown vest. They didn't really have a whole lot to do with it, but she does have some little flair, some little pins stuck on there. So we got some extra paint apps there. And she's also got a little brooch at the top. Actually has a pattern to it where it's got this kind of wine-colored base, like a reddish purple, and then it's got an overlay of it of this dark blue, kind of, is it dots? I think it's dots, like a light blue polka dot or dark blue polka dot pattern. I meant to say, and it gives us some texture. It's with the darker sort of reddish purple and the darker blue. It's not something that's super obvious, but it is something that even if your eye doesn't notice that it notices it, it does. If your brain isn't registering it, it's still there. By the way, I stood her on my desk, and it seems like she stands up pretty well even with the high heels. But I'm still glad to have the figure stand. And I don't know if she's warped or not. I think the calves might be warped, but you see the way they kind of bow out like that? They might be warped or they might be switched. I think that it's possible that they might have the wrong calves on the wrong side. So probably later I'll experiment with that and see if I could straighten them up a little bit. And if they don't really want to straighten up, I might see if I can like swap them out. Let's see how that does. And for those of you wondering, she's got white panties. Okay. So I was seriously just trying to take a look at the legs, but you can't really look at how the legs are jointed without looking up the skirt. I'm not trying to be a pervert, like not any more than usual anyway. But we'll talk more about that when we get to the articulation. So going back to the paint apps on her shirt, I'm sure some of you already noticed, like where her sleeves are rolled up, it's a different color. So they actually went through the effort of having the inside of her shirt be a different color from the outside of her shirt when she rolls up her sleeves. And that's a nice little piece of detailing. That's something that, like I've never really noticed it in the movie, but I guess it must be how it is in the movie. And yeah, so they actually painted it that way. If they'd have actually done a movie April O'Neil figure back in the 90s, Playmates probably would have just given her like if they use the same outfit, they probably would have given her a solid purple shirt and called it a day. And that would have been, honestly, it would have been understandable because it was, 1990s action figure technology, and they didn't have quite as detailed printing techniques as they have nowadays. So it probably would have just been like some kid at the factory just masking it and spraying it off, and now she's got a purple shirt, and that would have been that. But since we've got better painting technology, NECA brought it, and you can see her skirt. It's kind of an orangish sort of brown. It's not the same sort of brown as her vest, so it doesn't match up exactly. Although I feel like she did a good job picking out this ensemble. All the colors do go together nicely. I do think it's ironic that the main color that stands out on this is the purple shirt. And purple, of course, is the opposite color on the color wheel. It's the complementary color to yellow. So she's wearing the opposite of the yellow outfit she wore in the cartoon. Now, NECA did make a special limited edition. I think it's an autographed edition. Actually came with a press pass autograph by Judith Hoag herself. That came with a yellow raincoat. April in the movie wore a yellow raincoat in homage to the yellow jumpsuit on the cartoon. But this one sadly is not the one that came with the yellow raincoat. So no yellow raincoat for her. But she's still a nice looking figure anyway. So going down to her legs, she's got kind of a darker skin tone, as if to suggest she's wearing some hose. And then we get to one of the problems with this figure. And Rebecca Griffith is here, and she says, cool. Yeah, she is cool. They did a nice job. But one of the problems with her is they got a little too fancy with these knees, and they tried to give her some double knees. And sometimes these double knees work out really well, and you can see she does have a good range of motion. But they look weird because of the seams there. They didn't hide those joints very well. Now, I heard that some of these figures were released with a single jointed knee, like a running change. Like, I guess, they weren't happy with how it turned out, so they decided to fix it But I haven't ever actually seen any of these Aprils. So if they do have single jointed knees on this version of April, it's a hard to find variant. I'm gonna assume it's a hard to find variant because I haven't seen it. That's assuming they even exist. I don't even know whether or not they really exist. But yeah, so that's one of the flaws with this figure, I think. But yeah, they gave her a slightly darker skin tone on the legs because it's supposed to look like she's wearing hose, and then she's got some nice burgundy high heels, like I mentioned. And even the heels are painted in a different color. Again, if Playmates had actually made a figure of the movie version of April back in the 90s, they probably would have just made these burgundy pumps just straight up, not worried about painting the heel a different color. Whether or not that was how it was painted in the movie, how it was colored in the movie. Ooh, excuse me. Anyway, so and then one of the other problems with these double knees is you can see the knee joints do not match up with the hose. So of course the paint chips off very easily. It was already chipped out of the box. Like I don't know if it chipped off in the box or chipped off at the factory somewhere, but that paint did not want to stay on those knee joints whatsoever. It's that kind of plastic that just doesn't hold paint at all. So now it looks like she's got some weird random holes in the back of her hose. Maybe Casey Jones was chewing on the backs of her knees. Maybe he's got some kind of weird fetish. Not that I'm judging anybody. But somebody's got to have a fetish for like the back of the knee like that. So, not me. I guess if she's into it, I could, give it a nibble. But that's more for her sake than for mine. And the stand actually fits pretty loosely onto this foot. No, I got it on there tighter. I think I just had to press it further. But there she is with the figure stand. So if you don't trust her standing on the shelf with just these high heels, she does have a figure stand to help support her. So that's good. All right. So let's have a look at these accessories. So she came with Raphael's Sai. We'll go ahead and have a look at that first. So there she is with that. So she can try to defend herself against some Foot Clan guys. We'll talk more about Raphael's Sai when I open up the Super 7 Raphael figure. But I was researching the history of this weapon, and there are some interesting aspects of it that I want to talk about. Bobby Wald says the best way to solve those knee joints is in a yellow jumpsuit. Well, go back in time and tell the director that. Great director. He did a great job with this movie. You got to start doing music videos. He did the Aha Take On Me video, among others. Unfortunately, had a falling out with the studio and the producers, so wound up not coming back for the second movie. So here she is with the microphone. That, of course, is the main accessory you want April to have. And then she's got this wire that just leads to nowhere because unlike the animated one, she doesn't have a tape recorder that she comes with, but she does have a purse. So I'm going to slang the purse over her whole torso, which I think it's just supposed to hang at her side, but I'm gonna do it this way because I feel like that'll be a little more structurally sound. I'm going to slide the purse handle under her hair, and then this is a bendy wire, so it doesn't have to stick straight out. We can kind of mold it a little bit. Then you can have the, maybe it's not an ideal solution, but it is a solution. You pretend the tape recorder is in her purse. There's plenty of room in it for that. And there she goes. She looks like she's hailing a taxi now because I raised up that arm. But let's go ahead and, just for fun, I'm not going to try out all these hands, but I do want to try out the pointing hand because I like pointing hands. Yeah. And she could be kind of accusatory. I thought you were a corrupt police chief, but you're just an incompetent one. Yeah. I do like the pointing hand, so that's nice. All right. I'll put the more relaxed hand back in there now because I think that's the one I'm going to wind up leaving in there. And then we'll take out the microphone and take off the purse. And we can talk a little bit about her articulation. So April can only look up about that far. She's got that hair that gets in the way, so she can't look up that far. She can look down about that far, tilt her head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. It actually doesn't interfere with the side to side movement. It's fairly soft, pliable plastic, so that's good. April's arms, of course, rotate all the way around at the shoulders, and they raise up to the sides about that far. Neca did do one other movie, April, and I might get this figure eventually, but they did a 2-pack with April and Casey at the farm, and they're both kind of dressed a little more casually than the regular figures. Casey just has his wife beater on, and some gray sweatpants. He is wearing pants. I don't mean to imply he's not wearing pants. And April's got like an orange shirt that's kind of tied up like Daisy Duke. They're at a farm, makes sense. But it probably shares a lot of parts with this figure, but not all of the parts. She definitely is one that has the single jointed knees. But anyway, so yeah, the arms raise up to the sides about that far. She does have double jointed elbows, which work a lot better than the knees in terms of the aesthetics. It's got all those wrinkles in the sleeves where they can hide the joints. So looks like that's about the range of motion you get at the elbows. Not great range of motion for double jointed elbows. We've seen a lot better on NECA figures, but hey, it's still enough, I think. And then I'm being really careful with it because it seems like it's kind of tight. But the elbow joint rotates all the way around where the elbow joint meets the upper arm, and then the elbow joint where it meets the forearm that rotates all the way around. But again, it's kind of tight. I think I can get it to go all the way around though. There we go. All right, and then her wrists rotate all the way around, and this gripping hand has a horizontal hinge on it. I'm betting they all have horizontal hinges. Yes, indeed, that does look to be the case. They all have horizontal hinges. She's got like a torso joint where she's got like a full range of movement. She can move from side to side, backwards, forwards. It's not like the best in terms of like the angles, but again, it'll give you enough that you can get her into some pretty interesting poses, I think. She's not a ninja herself. She doesn't really have any action scenes in the movie per se. So, you don't really need to have her do like high kicks or anything like that. This is one of those where there's a lot of points of articulation, but she still doesn't move a whole lot. You know what I mean? Because of how her outfit is set up. But that's okay because she's not really that action oriented of a character. You can get her into as many action poses as this character needs to be in, given how she's portrayed in the movie. We'll put it that way. So speaking of which, of course, she has this plastic skirt, so she can't she can't kick up very far. Which again, Bobby Wald points out that the what he pointed out as a solution for the knee joints, that would have been a solution for the kicking too. She'd be able to move her legs if she had a yellow jumpsuit. So hey, plug for the next episode. I'm going to open up the Super 7 April O'Neil figure, who is in a yellow jumpsuit. So we'll have a more traditional April to talk about in the next episode. So that's what we're going to do next. And then, like I said before, she's got these double jointed knees that bend up about that far, and those rotate all the way around where the knee meets the thigh and where the knee meets the calf. Rotates all the way around. I don't know why they put so much effort into articulating her knees when her legs just aren't that well articulated. So the double knee joints are even kind of useless, since you can't really get her to like kick up or kick to the side or anything like that. She can't do splits. She can't kick bad guys in the head. So why did they put all the effort into giving us these fancy knee joints that don't even look very good aesthetically? This is probably why, again, I heard a rumor that they did a running change on it. I'll come back to that. Why I think they did a running change on it. That's the rumor that I heard. I haven't actually seen any evidence of it, but definitely the 2-pack figure has the single joint at the leg, which aesthetically looks better, if nothing else. Oh yeah, and April's feet. Quentin Tarantino would be pissed if I didn't talk about April's feet. So her foot can point down about that far and point up about that far, and then that rotates all the way around at the ankle. Got a rocker joint on it. So that is it for the articulation. Bobby Wald says, are you going to watch Larry Hama citing an announcement of a new classified figure? I was completely unaware of that, actually. I hadn't seen anything about that. So I guess I'm going to try to watch it if I can find it. I'll see if I can find something about it. And I'm friends with him on Facebook, so you would think that like that would be something he would mention on Facebook, and maybe he did, and it just didn't come up in my news feed for whatever. You know how Facebook is. It just thinks to itself, okay, what's the most important stuff that this guy really wants to know about, and what's the stuff that he absolutely could not give a crap about, and make sure I give him plenty of that and keep this important stuff out of the way of the news feed. Like I got so many posts about the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show, and if there's two things in this world that I don't really care about, it's modern pop music and sports. So I just have no interest in the Bad Bunny halftime show. Like one way or the other, I don't even have enough interest in it to complain about. All I see is people talking about people complaining. I see people complaining about it, and I see people complaining about the people complaining about it. And I just really don't care. It's like the only thing that that I care less about than the Bad Bunny halftime show is the Kid Rock fake halftime show, because apparently like they decided to do a halftime show to compete with the other halftime show with Kid Rock in there, and I'm just like, whatever, guys. Like, you know who did the best halftime show of all time? Prince. That's one I will still go and watch that halftime show. They refer to that halftime show as the time they played a football game at a Prince concert. That's how good of a halftime show that was. So I think they should just stop doing halftime shows. I think they should maybe just run a cartoon in the middle of it instead. Or just rerun the Prince halftime show. Just show that one every year. Just they got big screens there. Put Prince up on the big screen, and show the Prince halftime show. I guarantee you it'll be better than whatever halftime show they put up there. So yeah, don't care about that at all. Get like 8,000 notifications about it in my news feed. Did not get a single person. Hey, Larry Hama is going to sign an action figure on Whatnot. So Bobby Wald says it's at 4:30 Eastern on Whatnot. I've never used it before. My cousin Amy, she's the big Whatnot person. She knows how to use Whatnot. But I'll see if I can. Hey, well, we're going to be done with that just in time because I'm almost done talking about this action figure, aren't I? So anyway, April O'Neil, great action figure. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Even with the issues with the knees. I'm going to go ahead and put these extra hands in her purse so I don't lose them. Okay. So now I've got a place to keep her hands. Well, now I don't think the sai would fit in there all the way anyway. I think you're supposed to kind of have the sai kind of tucked in there. I don't think it's quite long. I wouldn't take a risk on putting the sai in there because I wouldn't want to take a chance on it getting warped or bent or broken or anything like that. And then, of course, the microphone, like I said, you can just kind of stick the wire of the microphone in there. So that's how she's going to be displayed on my shelf, holding the microphone, and I'll just go ahead and put that back on her right now. So anyway, I'm really happy with how this figure turned out, even though there were some issues with the knees. And I kind of figure, like, even if like the knees are a deal breaker for you, hey, if you can get that 2-pack figure for cheap, you can just swap out the legs, and then you don't have to worry about that anymore. So, and I got my extra one that I'm going to turn into Lois Lane. So we're going to have some fun with that. And Probably be a short about that in the future when I finish making it. Blue Eye Mario is here, says hello, it's me again. Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done though. So, but it's nice of you to pop up again at the end. Bobby Wald says that's the first time in history that line has been ever been used to put put it in a woman's purse to not lose it. Well, it's just a little toy purse. Even though it's a big purse for her, it's a little purse for me. So there's not a whole lot of room for it to get lost. But it's definitely the mom purse. Like I said, she's sneaking snacks into the movie theater. But that's it for our ultimate NECA movie, April O'Neil. But that's not it for April O'Neil, because like I said, I've got the Super 7 April O'Neil that we're going to open up tomorrow, and I'm going to try to remember to bring the NECA animated April over here, because I want to compare those two. So when I first started collecting, trying to not started collecting, but started trying to fill out my collection of NECA Ninja Turtles figures. And originally I was just looking at NECA. I did see, like I said when I was talking about with Bebop and Rocksteady yesterday, I loved those the Super 7 Bebop and Rocksteady so much. It was the size that really did it for me. And so I decided to get those two. And then after I had those two, I was like, well, these are pretty. The Shredder also, which I'd already opened up on this channel, and I'm like, there are some cool looking other figures in this way. So what I decided to do, as I mentioned on that episode, is I was going to get all the figures from the first Playmates wave, not the first Super 7 wave, but the first Playmates wave. So that's all four of the Turtles: Splinter, April, Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady, and the Foot Soldier. And so far, I've got all of those except for the Foot Soldier. And then I have a couple of other ones. I decided I'd have that first wave, and any figures that I got after that would be like just kind of cherry picking things. Like Casey Jones. I got Casey Jones, and I got the Mousers, because you got to have the Mousers. And there might be a few more of those that I get in the future. But that's... Oh, I forgot to talk about this last accessory, the stack of frozen pizzas that she comes with. So get a look at those. She got a stack of frozen pizza boxes. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. So I've got all of those figures to open up. I've got all four of the Turtles, Splinter, April, already did Shredder, already did Bebop and Rocksteady. So April's going to be the next one. And then I also have Casey Jones and the Mousers. The only one from the first Playmates wave that I don't have so far is the Foot Soldier. I'll get him eventually, I'm sure, but I haven't got him yet. So yeah, we're going to have some of those to open up, and a few more NECA figures. So we've got 3 Casey Jones figures to open up, because I've got the Super 7 and the Ultimate Movie Edition and the Mirage Edition. So I figure, let me think. Tomorrow is Thursday. So we open up April on Thursday. I'll probably wait till next week to open up the KC figures. So we'll do Splinter, and we'll do the Mousers, and then next week I'll do the Casey Jones figures, and might go ahead and open up, because it's already February 11th. Wow. So I might go ahead and open up Mr. Terrific. We might interrupt our Ninja Turtles for just a brief interlude, so I can open up Mr. Terrific, and that'll be my Black History Month figure for this year. And then we'll get back on the Ninja Turtles and finish those up, because we've got all 4 of the Ninja Turtles themselves, and I want to make sure I open all those up close to each other. I can get kind of picky about how I open the stuff up, and then I think once I'm done with that, then I'll probably get on to some DC because it's been a while since we opened up some DC figures, and we got lots of Batman, we got lots of Superman, and we got lots of other DC characters. Like you can see behind me, I got like stacked here. I've got Blackfire, Zatanna. Of course, Zatanna comes with Detective Chimp and the Flash Titano 2-pack. Oh, I've got some things to say about that. But that's it for this episode. That's it for our Judith Hogue, our Ultimate April O'Neil. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and other fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about this figure and the character in general. YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe, so I like to say like and subscribe. I like it when you leave comments, so I like to say leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Next episode, now that we're done with Ultimate April O'Neil, we'll open up Ultimate April O'Neil. See how confusing that is? Could they use like maybe use a different absolute or definitive or something like that? I don't even care which one does it. So, but that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.